I've been married to my gorgeous, rugged husband for 3 months. We still sleep in separate rooms. I was starting to get desperate, so desperate I was about to pounce on him. And that's when I heard his thoughts. Her face is getting red again. So cute. I wonder if I'd scare her if I made a move. She's finally touching my abs. All those workouts were worth it. Take that, you little snake. Why is she looking at me like that? Oh God, did she find the clothes I hid? Luke had just stepped out of the bathroom. My fingers froze on my keyboard as I glanced over at him. He had nothing on but a towel wrapped around his waist. His upper body was bare, revealing a strong, tan chest, broad shoulders, and a narrow waist with sleek, beautiful muscles. My mouth went dry. Something must have set him off lately, because he'd been working out like a maniac after work every day and wearing less and less clothing. He was constantly parading his six-pack in front of me. Was he trying to show off the results of his fitness routine? He got closer. I swallowed hard, feeling a complete lack of willpower. We'd been married for 3 months, and he hadn't touched me once. He said he wanted to take things slow. Every night, he slept in a different room. A thought suddenly popped into my head. Could it be, he can't perform? Why else would he avoid touching me? I was itching with curiosity. Maybe it was because he was always strutting around in front of me, but I was seriously craving his body. Without thinking, I reached out, my hand clamping down on him, and gave his rock-hard abs a squeeze. There was only one way to find out if he could perform or not. I thought he was going to resist, so I squeezed his firm chest, ready to force myself on him. But then, I suddenly heard his thoughts. She's finally touching my abs. All those workouts were worth it. My abs are definitely better than that snake's. I blinked, thinking I must have misheard. I looked at Luke again, trying to confirm. Staring at his tightly closed lips, I still heard his thoughts. Her face is getting red again. So cute. I wonder if I'd scare her if I did that. I wonder if she thinks I'm too rough. Maybe I should be more polished. Why is she looking at me like that? Did she find the clothes I hid? Hid clothes? My hand, which was pressing on his abs, paused. Then I heard his thoughts again. She almost found them last time. Can't let that happen again. So he was talking about those racy outfits he hid in the walk-in closet. I was afraid he might have an even creepier fetish. A shiver went down my spine, and I snatched my hand back in fear. I lost my nerve. Suddenly, I didn't dare take things any further with him. I grabbed my laptop and hurried back to my room. Before I left, I shot him a glare. Just as I was about to close the door, I heard his thoughts again. Does my wife not like my abs? Does she think they're not as good as that snake's? She only touched them for a second. Looks like I need to train even harder. I can't let that punk outdo me. My coach was right. Even though I really want to cuddle with my wife, he said a man can't be too forward. I should take it slow. She touched my abs today, so maybe she'll kiss me tomorrow? My wife just made eyes at me. That's all the motivation I need for my morning workout. The door closed, and the voice in my head finally stopped. That was clearly a glare. How did he see that as me making eyes at him? The next morning, I had just stepped out of my bedroom when I saw Luke in the kitchen, wearing my pink apron and making breakfast. This time, I didn't hear his thoughts. Last night, I only heard them after touching his chest. Did I have to touch him again to hear them? As I was mulling it over, I sat down to eat, and his thoughts started up again. I wonder if my wife will praise me when she sees the heart-shaped breakfast I made for her. A kiss would be even better. No, that seems like I'm pushing my luck. I should listen to my coach and take it slow. My hand paused. I didn't know what to say, so I just pretended not to hear and kept eating. I got to the office and had barely settled in at my desk. Connor walked over with a file, leaning close to me with a smile. Mia, I don't get these parts. Can you help me out? He was a new colleague, young, handsome, and full of energy, and his work was pretty solid. He'd just been assigned to our team, and the manager asked me to train him. I nodded, took the file, and started to explain it to him. Before I could finish, I heard Luke's voice in my head again. That damn snake, getting close to my wife again. Ugh, he's so slick. He dresses better every day, and now he's got his hand on my wife's chair. He's not stealing my wife that easily. I thought I was hearing things. Then I heard someone call out for the boss. I instinctively looked back. Sure enough, I saw Luke walking past. He had clearly put effort into his outfit today, too. He was even wearing the same color scheme as me, so we looked like we were wearing matching outfits. I didn't look for long. After a quick hello, I immediately looked away. After all, we hadn't gone public with our relationship at the office. None of our colleagues knew we were together. After Luke left, I heard my coworkers start to gossip. Weird. Why has the CEO been coming to our department so much lately? He's been here more in the last few weeks than he has in the past year. Is he checking to see if we're slacking off? I don't know. Every time he comes, he just stares at Connor. He can't be here to see him, right? I mean, Connor is cute, but... When it was time to go to lunch. Just as Connor invited me to join him, Luke's deep voice came from behind me. Mia, come to my office. I need to see you about something. With that, he turned and left. By now, our coworkers had all gone to lunch. Sorry, you go ahead, I told Connor. I followed Luke. The moment I knocked, the door swung open. He had clearly been waiting for me. He pulled me inside, his arm wrapping around my waist. He got straight to the point. Honey, what if I move you up to my floor? I frowned. It was the first time he'd called me that, and it felt a little awkward. Why? The second I asked, I understood what he meant. No, I said, breaking free and walking toward the floor-to-ceiling window. This is fine. If you suddenly transfer me, our coworkers will definitely get the wrong idea. Then what should I do? I can't stand seeing him get so close to you, he said, pressing up against me again. As he spoke, I heard his thoughts. Crap, will she think I'm being unreasonable? Will this lower her opinion of me? I'm getting nervous. I regret this. I shouldn't have said that. I should have just had that snake transferred. Ugh, but what if my wife finds out and gets mad at me? Just as I was about to interrupt his inner monologue, he spoke first. It's fine if you don't transfer, he said, changing the subject. At the end of the day, my coworkers were all talking about the team get-together that evening. When we got to the company entrance, Luke's tall, lean figure came into view. I frowned. I had specifically texted him and told him to go home first. Did he not see it? He was smiling, and I knew instantly, he was waiting here on purpose. A coworker politely asked if he wanted to join us. He glanced at me, then quickly looked away toward Connor. Sure, I hope I won't be intruding. The coworker who asked hadn't expected Luke to say yes, and his smile froze on his face. The atmosphere suddenly wasn't as relaxed as it had been. I looked into Luke's dark, calm eyes. On the surface, he was all business, but inside, his thoughts were racing. Good thing I made it. With me here, that snake won't get a chance to get close to my wife. I get to be with my wife again. Did I see that right? I think my wife was just staring at me. Toward the end of the party, someone suggested a game of truth or dare. I came back to the private room after a trip to the restroom. I found that my seat had been taken. I was debating where to sit. Mia, come sit over here, Connor said with a smile, patting the empty spot next to him. Just as I was about to walk over, Luke sat down first, scowling as he told Connor to scoot over, then motioned for me to sit next to him. The moment I sat down, I heard his thoughts. Good thing I'm quick, or that snake would have gotten his way. That conniving jerk. I bet he did that on purpose. Why does he keep calling her Mia like that? I can't stand it. By sitting in the middle, I can both cuddle with my wife and keep an eye on that snake to make sure he doesn't pull any tricks. We went home after the party ended. I ducked into the walk-in closet, my face flushed. After my shower, I pulled out a nightgown. I stared at the two thin straps, my eyes wide. I had grabbed it in a hurry and didn't look closely. I thought this one was more modest than the others, but it turned out to be even more. I instantly wanted to back out. But I had already picked it out, and Luke had probably already seen it. Gritting my teeth, I changed into it. I stood in front of the mirror in the bathroom, fidgeting for a while before finally wrapping a towel around myself. When I came out, Luke was still pacing in the living room. I immediately heard his thoughts. I don't want to sleep in a separate room anymore. I want to move back into the master bedroom with my wife. How do I bring it up? This is so stressful. That nightgown my wife grabbed in the closet earlier looked so familiar. My wife kissed me in the car tonight. That has to mean something, right? Why isn't she out yet? Did she pass out in there? I cleared my throat softly, and Luke finally noticed me. He was still holding a glass of water. He must have been nervous because he started stammering. Honey, I accidentally spilled water on my quilt. Can I sleep in the master bedroom tonight? I smiled. He couldn't even come up with a good excuse. It's not like we only owned one comforter. But I didn't call him out on it. I just nodded. Before he came in, I took off the robe and slipped into bed. I pulled the covers up to my chin. The sound of running water trickled from the bathroom. My heart was pounding in my chest as I thought about what was going to happen. The water stopped, and Luke came out soon after. Once he was in bed, I heard his thoughts again. I'm so nervous. I'm finally back in the master bedroom. My coach was right. If I just follow his advice, I'll definitely succeed. Today was such a good day. First, my wife kissed me, and now she's letting me move back into the master bedroom. I want to cuddle with my wife. My coach hasn't taught me this part yet. Should I ask him now? No, it looks like my wife is about to sleep. I shouldn't bother her. She smells so good. I want to talk to her. I want another kiss like the one in the car tonight. I couldn't help it, a small laugh escaped my lips. What is it? Luke asked, turning toward me. I shook my head, looped my arms around his neck, leaned in, and kissed his Adam's apple. It bobbed as his breathing grew ragged. He grabbed my hand and squeezed it. Then he pressed down on top of me, and a storm of kisses followed. When his warm hand touched my nightgown, he suddenly stopped. His deep, dark eyes scanned me, deeper than the night sky. I woke up the next afternoon. Thankfully, it was the weekend. The whole weekend, he and I were shamelessly stuck together, never apart. Until Monday, when he had to go abroad for a business trip. Before he left, he clung to me, begging for a kiss. His thoughts. I hate this. This was supposed to be the old man's job, but he dumped it on me at the last minute. It's getting in the way of my romance with my wife. I'm definitely telling Mom on him when she gets back. I wish I could take my wife with me, but she'd never agree. I'll just go and come back as fast as I can. I'll bring her back lots of presents and surprise her. The thought of being apart for a week is making me so bummed. He'd call me every day, and we'd talk for hours. It felt a little strange not hearing his thoughts for a few days. The night before he was due back, I was sent to Boston for work. It wasn't until I got there that I realized one of the two colleagues traveling with me had been swapped out. It was Connor. When Luke got back from his trip, he came straight to find me. When he arrived, Connor was helping me back to my hotel room. I was tipsy and leaning on him. In the hallway, their eyes met. Then, Luke swept me up into his arms, took a few steps, and then turned back to look at Connor. If you have a minute, let's talk. In the coffee shop. Connor watched Luke glare at him, looking like he wanted to skin him alive. He took a slow sip of his coffee and smiled. Don't get the wrong idea. I was just trying to help Mia back to her room. I wasn't trying to take advantage of her. Oh, really? Luke sneered. But you knew she and I were married, and you still hovered around her like a puppy dog. The two aren't mutually exclusive. I like her, so I want to pursue her. But I'm not low enough to take advantage of a situation, and I would never force her to do something she doesn't want to, especially when she isn't thinking clearly. And just because I know she's married, so what? I like her, so I'm going to try to win her over. You, Luke glared at him. You're shameless. Trying to be the other man. I have thick skin. Say whatever you want. I'm still going to pursue Mia, Connor said with an unconcerned shrug. Seeing him still smiling, Luke was furious and decided to change tactics. Are you sure your parents are okay with you continuing like this? What's the point? No matter how hard you try, my wife will never like you. Because she likes me. You'd be better off using this time to go home and take over the family business. At that, Connor raised an eyebrow, a half smile on his face. And how are you so sure Mia likes you? After a pause, he added another line that cut like a knife. From what I can see, Mia likes younger guys. She's not into someone old and rugged like you. Luke's face darkened, his voice laced with anger. So what? I'm her husband. You're just. Their conversation ended a few sentences later, and they parted on bad terms. When Luke got back to the hotel room, I was mostly sober by then. Seeing his dark expression, I asked if he was okay. I then heard him ask in a hurt, quiet voice. Am I old? I paused for a second, thinking I'd misheard. Just as I was about to ask for clarification, I heard his thoughts. Oh God, why did she hesitate? Am I really as old and rugged as that snake said? My wife wouldn't hold it against me, right? I'm not going to believe a word that snake says. I've been trying so hard to change. It's over. She hesitated for so long. She must be tired of me. No, I said quickly, afraid he'd overthink it. And I'd never be tired of you. At that, his expression brightened, and he started clinging to me again. As he kissed me, the corners of his eyes were rimmed with red. After we got back from the trip. One day in the office, Luke's grip on my waist tightened, his voice strangely husky. There's a banquet tomorrow night. Will you be my date? I nodded. As we were kissing, the sound of a text message notification went off. Luke's phone, which he'd just put on the table, lit up. I glanced at it. I saw a message from Jenny. Luke, I'm back in the country tomorrow. Do you have time to pick me up? Jenny? I'd heard my coworkers mention her before. I think she was Luke's childhood friend. On the way home after work. In the back seat, Luke was typing furiously on his phone. It looked like he was texting his childhood friend. And he was shielding the screen from me. So secretive. Who are you texting? I asked, glancing at his screen. You don't even type that much when you text me. He froze for a second before answering. A friend is asking me about some work stuff. Lame excuse. Then why can't I see? You're being so sneaky. I think you're hiding something. He usually replied to messages with just a few words. This was unusual, especially after seeing that text in his office. Just as I was about to get angry, I heard his thoughts. I'm asking my coach for advice. I hope my wife doesn't think I'm ignoring her. No, she can't see this. She'll definitely laugh at me if she sees it. I'll text him back later. Spending time with my wife is more important. He put his phone down and focused on me. At the banquet the next day. As soon as we walked in, Luke's friend came over to say hi. A moment later, his friend pulled Luke aside, shot him a glare, and whispered. Why'd you suddenly stop replying to my texts last night? That was cold, man. You have no idea how long I waited for you. Luke just gave a faint "oh. Sorry, I forgot." You have the nerve to say that? None of that terrible advice you gave me seems like it would work. It's too over the top. I can't do it. What do you know? A lot of girls are into that stuff these days. Maybe your wife would like it, too. How will you know if you don't try? No way. I'm starting to think you're just messing with me. I'm not listening to you anymore. I have my own judgment now. Wow, you. When you were begging me for help, it was coach this and coach that. Now that you've got the girl, you can't be bothered. I can't believe you're that kind of person. In the next instant, I heard Luke's thoughts. I was so focused on my wife last night, I totally forgot to text him back. I wonder if she saw that text yesterday. Should I try to explain? Seriously, I have nothing to do with her. I don't get why she'd send a message like that all of a sudden. But if I try to explain it out of the blue, what if my wife gets even more suspicious? This is so stressful. I smiled and asked him directly. Do you like her? Huh? It's like my wife can hear my thoughts. Luke froze, then realized who I was asking about. He shook his head frantically and explained. We just knew each other as kids, but we barely saw each other after that, aside from bumping into each other at banquets like this. We just say hi, that's it. Honey, don't overthink it. Please don't get the wrong idea. I nodded, believing him. In the middle of the party, Luke had to go meet some business partners. I didn't go with him, instead finding a quiet spot to chat with my best friend. My friend sent me a message. Guess who I just ran into? It was followed by a photo. I opened it. The person in the picture was Connor. My friend's message popped up again. I knew he had to be somebody special. You don't know until you ask, and when I did, I was shocked. Turns out the kid is the heir to the Connor family fortune. Instead of inheriting the family business, he runs off to your company, insists on being in your department, and insists on having you train him. I bet he's totally into you, that's why he followed you there. Damn, that's some dedication. He knows you're married and still hasn't given up. If your husband knew, he'd flip out. My finger paused on the screen. I didn't scroll any further. Not long ago, Connor had confessed his feelings to me again. I'd rejected him, but he was still persistent, pursuing me just like before. Ms. Mia. As I was replying to the message, I heard someone call my name. I turned around instinctively and saw Jenny. She was holding a wine glass and walked up to me with a smile. Long time no see. It was just a polite pleasantry, but I had never actually met her. I'd only heard my coworkers talk about her and had seen her picture. After a beat, she looked me up and down, her gaze calm. They all said you were beautiful, and seeing you today, it's true. No wonder Luke likes you so much. She chuckled, then her tone shifted. He went against his family's wishes to marry you, but a marriage without blessings won't last. I'm sure you already know about my relationship with Luke, Ms. Mia. What relationship? I asked, looking at her coldly. She glanced around, then lowered her voice. Are you really that clueless, or are you just playing dumb? If you're not going to say, then I'm leaving. She quickly blocked my path, dropping the act and glaring at me. Why do you get to marry Luke? I knew him first. I've known him longer than you have, and his family likes me better. I should be the one marrying him. Tell me, what kind of tricks did you use to? Before she could finish, a deep voice cut in. Jenny. Hearing it, Jenny looked toward the sound and saw it was Luke. Her expression changed in an instant. She forced a stiff smile and was about to link her arm with mine. I instinctively took a step back, putting distance between us. Her outstretched hand was left hanging, and the smile on her face froze. Still, she tried to save face. Brother Luke, what a coincidence. I was just having a little chat with my sister-in-law, and you showed up. Luke walked to my side, glanced at Jenny, and warned her in a cold voice. Don't think I didn't hear what you just said. If you ever spread false rumors and misleading stories again, you know I won't go easy on you. After that, he started explaining things to me. Once he finished, his inner monologue started up again. How is she at this party, too? She's everywhere. Was I not firm enough when I rejected her last time? Good thing I got here quickly. It would have been bad if my wife got the wrong idea. I've seen Jenny's true colors today. I need to keep my distance from her from now on. I can't let my wife get hurt. What a downer. I hope she never shows up in front of my wife again. That night, he was clinging to me, begging me to go public with our relationship at work. Honey, make me an honest man. I thought about it, and his inner monologue started up again in my ear. Why is she hesitating again? Does she really not want to go public with me? Does she think I'm embarrassing? My heart is breaking. I was so jealous watching my best friend show off his girlfriend at work. I want to be able to do that, too. Is my wife still thinking about that snake? Ugh, I'm her husband, after all. If it comes down to it, I'll take a step back. As long as he doesn't show his face around me, I can pretend I don't know anything. Stop. It was terrifying. In just a few moments, his mind had run through so many scenarios. He was nothing like his exterior. Who would believe it? Is this what they call a hidden side? I didn't say we couldn't go public, and I'm not embarrassed by you. I was just thinking we should find the right time to announce it. Don't you think? Luke's eyes lit up, and he lunged at me. Emicham, my wife is right. Whatever you say. The next day at work, he ignored his private executive elevator and insisted on squeezing into the employee elevator with me. Luckily, it was just the two of us in there at first. He shuffled closer to me and took my hand. I instinctively tried to pull away. What if someone saw? Just for a second. I'll let go before the doors open. Just as he said that, the elevator doors opened. A crowd of employees was standing outside. They stared, dumbfounded, at the two of us holding hands. My ears turned bright red. I shot him a glare, then ditched him and ran. He said he'd let go, but he didn't. Now, we had to go public whether we wanted to or not. I suspect he did it on purpose. His thoughts were still buzzing in my ear. Crap, I really didn't mean to do that. What if my wife is mad at me? Oh no, oh no. Next time, I should just pull my wife into my private elevator. Then we won't have to worry about anyone seeing. My wife is ignoring me. This is bad. How am I going to win her back? Since it's already happened, maybe we should just go public. I should probably talk it over with her first. A little while after I got back to my desk, Luke called me into his office. As soon as I walked in, he started trying to sweet-talk me. I'm sorry. I promise it won't happen again. But since everyone saw, why don't we just go public now? It'll stop them from gossiping behind our backs. I gave him a look. I suppose that was the only option now. When I came upstairs just now, the way everyone looked at me was already different. After we went public. That weekend, Luke's parents asked us to come over for dinner. Luke looked at me, frowning. It's okay. If you don't want to go, I'll just tell them no. You already agreed on the phone. We might as well go. It's just one meal. When Luke and I got married, his parents were against it. They thought our families weren't a good match, and I wasn't the ideal daughter-in-law they had in mind. But Luke was insistent, and they finally had to give in, for the time being. So, we hadn't had much contact with them since the wedding. For them to invite us to dinner now, they must be up to something, right? The weekend came, and it was time for dinner at Luke's parents' house. It wasn't until we got there that I realized Jenny was there, too. I froze on the spot. Luke took my hand. Mom, Dad, didn't you say it was just family? What is she doing here? Luke's mother took Jenny's arm and said with a smile. Jenny was just dropping something off. Since it was almost time for dinner, I asked her to stay. Luke's father nodded in agreement. Jenny looked at me with a smug, defiant smile. In that case, I'll make myself clear today, Luke said, glancing at Jenny. I know what you're trying to do, and I know you don't like Mia. But I love her. I only love her. So I'm not leaving her, and none of your little schemes will work. Enjoy your dinner. We're leaving. With that, he pulled me away. Behind us, his parents' angry shouts filled the air. The car was frighteningly quiet, but I could hear his thoughts. My parents were so out of line today, inviting Jenny to the house. No, I need to find a time to have a serious talk with them. I can't let my wife be treated like this. The way my wife looked at me just now, she must have been really moved. Good thing I was prepared. I had my assistant book a table at that restaurant I heard is perfect for dates. It's the perfect time to take my wife there now. Later that evening, on a whim, I went to the study to find a book my best friend had recommended a few days ago. The study was usually Luke's domain, filled with his things. Luke, who had been on his way to shower, came back, his voice sounding a little nervous. Honey, let me help you. What are you looking for? It's nothing, I'm just looking for a book. You can go take your shower, I said, glancing at him. Tell me the title, I'll find it for you. Seeing his insistence, I had to give him the book title. After he found it, I curled up on the sofa to read. Only then did he finally go to the bathroom to shower. That was a bit strange. He seemed really nervous just now. Was there something in the study he didn't want me to see? The more I thought about it, the more curious I became. I waited a while before I finally heard his thoughts. That was close. My wife going into the study nearly gave me a heart attack. Luckily, she didn't find anything. I put the photo at the very bottom of the drawer. She'll never find it. I can finally relax and take a shower. I should probably take that photo to the office tomorrow. I can look at it when I have free time. My wife has no idea I've had a crush on her for so long. I want to tell her, but I don't know how. Sigh. A photo? A crush? I was stunned for a moment, then I went into the study. At the very bottom of the drawer, I found the photo. It was taken when I was in college. So he liked me even back then. No wonder he kept bumping into me later on. After the sound of the shower stopped, I put the photo back where I found it. If I told him I could hear his thoughts, would he be freaked out? How should I tell him? As I was thinking, he came out. As usual, a towel was wrapped around his waist, his muscular chest bare, his hair half dry. His rock-hard muscles just begged to be touched. I swallowed. He was already in front of me. He scooped me up and carried me back to the bedroom. His thoughts were still going. I knew my wife would like this. I did it on purpose, hee hee. My wife loves my abs. Looks like my workouts have been paying off. That snake can't even compare to me. I love it when my wife takes the lead. She's so cute. Everything about her is cute. Let's try a new position tonight. After gathering my thoughts, I asked him to stop. Wait, I have something to tell you, I said, squeezing his chest. Go on. I paused for a moment, then opened my mouth to speak. Huh? Why can't I hear his thoughts anymore? I'd been hearing them this whole time. Why did they suddenly stop? That's not right. This was usually when his thoughts were most active. But now, I couldn't hear a thing. I frowned, my gaze falling on his abs, then moving up. An idea flashed in my mind. Was it because I just squeezed his chest? I remembered the first time I heard his thoughts was right after I grabbed his chest. Today was the second time, and now I couldn't hear them. What's wrong? Luke asked, seeing me frozen. I shook my head and reached out, squeezing his chest again just like before. I waited a moment, but still nothing. I didn't give up. I reached out and squeezed again. Still nothing. Luke's breathing was already ragged. He grabbed my mischievous hand and pressed down on top of me. I woke up the next morning. Luke was already making breakfast. Strange. I still couldn't hear his thoughts. Usually, when he made breakfast and I was near him, his thoughts would have started up by now. It felt a little weird to suddenly not hear them. Luke glanced at me, standing there motionless, and called me over for breakfast. I stared at him for a long time, but still no thoughts. I could, however, pretty much guess what he was thinking. On the way to the office, I still didn't hear his thoughts. I pouted. All day, not only did I not hear his thoughts, but I didn't get any texts from him either. Did his clinginess disappear along with his inner voice? After a meeting, only Connor and I were left in the conference room. I saw an envelope in Connor's hand. It looked like a resignation letter. "You're quitting?" I asked casually. He smiled, his voice nonchalant. "Yeah. Is my big sister going to miss me? If you say you'll miss me, I won't turn it in." "Don't. I'm dying for you to quit. Giving up the family fortune to come here and be a corporate drone?" Was he crazy? He raised an eyebrow, his tone suddenly serious. "Since I'm about to leave, can you give me a hug? Think of it as a farewell gift?" he asked with a smile. Of course. I reached out, and just as I was about to hug him, he pulled me into his arms, his grip suddenly tight. I heard his self-righteous voice in my ear. "Even though I'm quitting, I'm not giving up on you. If he ever treats you badly, you'll ditch him right away, okay?" Knowing what he was going to say next, I quickly cut him off. On the way home after work. In the car, I saw Luke's obvious scowl. "You saw me hug him?" I asked. I couldn't think of any other reason why he'd be upset. He just grunted in response, and it sounded surprisingly pitiful. "He's quitting, so I gave him a quick hug. I promise it won't happen again." After a long time coaxing him, just as he was starting to feel better, a text from Connor popped up. "Mia, I heard this restaurant is great. I have something important to tell you. Are you free this weekend?" It was followed by the restaurant's location and a picture. Luke's face darkened, and he scoffed. "Important? He's already quit, what could be so important?" He could at least come up with a better excuse. "You want to go?" "You can, but I'm coming with you. I want to see what he's really up to." On the day of the meeting. Coming out of the bathroom, I saw Luke in the walk-in closet, preening and trying on several different outfits. "You're not really going, are you?" "I am." He was shirtless, holding up two similar shirts. "Which of these looks better?" They were both white. They looked almost identical. I pointed to one randomly, then couldn't resist squeezing his chest, wanting to test my theory one more time. Still no thoughts. I guess I wouldn't be hearing them anymore. "Well, you go then." "I'm not going. I have something to do, so I'll be heading out in a bit," I said, picking out clothes to wear. Luke's hand, which was tying his tie, paused. "Where are you going?" "The hospital." "Why the hospital?" he asked, his brow furrowed. "Are you not feeling well? Why didn't you tell me?" His frown deepened. I didn't answer, just smiled at him. Then, I took the pregnancy test I just used out of the bathroom and showed it to him. "One of the lines looks a little faint, don't you think?" "I'm going to the hospital to check." Luke saw the two lines on the test. He froze, and it took him a moment to process. If only I could hear his thoughts now, they would surely be amazing. "Am I seeing this right? 2 lines?" he asked, blinking. When I nodded, a huge grin spread across his face, and he hugged me. "Then I'm not going either. I'll go to the hospital with you." With that, he quickly got himself ready. After a series of tests at the hospital, the result was the same as the pregnancy test. I was pregnant. After we left the hospital, Luke finally saw the missed calls from Connor, and his texts. "Where are you guys? Are you messing with me on purpose?" I've been waiting for you forever and haven't seen you. You're not even picking up your phones. Why aren't you or Mia answering me? I suspect you're doing this on purpose. You're probably trying to get back at me. Just you wait. I told you I had something important to tell Mia. You'll regret doing this to me. If it weren't for Mia, I never would have introduced you to such a big business partner. Hello? Why are neither of you responding? Luke smiled. I got so excited, I completely forgot to tell him. Luke took a picture of the ultrasound report and sent it. A moment later, Connor texted again. I'm shook. Wait for me, I'm on my way over. I don't care, I waited for so long, you have to make it up to me. This time, you're treating me. After Luke replied. You two seem to get along pretty well, I said, glancing at him. Normally, he wouldn't be in such a good mood. I'm in a good mood today, he smiled. Come home with me today? I already told my mom. He nodded. When he tried to support me by the arm, I smiled at him. It's still early. You don't need to help me. Go get the car. We got to my mom's house. My mom and aunt were in the kitchen, cooking. Luke pulled me aside, saying he wanted to see my room. Me? He stared at a picture of me as a child for a long time, his voice very serious. I wish I had met you sooner. He shouldn't have brought that up. It reminded me of the photo he had hidden in his study. I touched my belly and leaned in to kiss him. Our life is pretty great right now. I love it. Yeah, me too. Because you're in it, everything is just perfect.